just watching very closely results come in from Kentucky. Right now, Bernie Sanders in the lead with just 316 votes. More votes to be counted. Wolf?
It's very close, Anderson. 46.5% for each. As you say, 316 votes separate them. Almost 400,000 votes have been counted, and 96% of all the votes in Kentucky have already been counted. Bernie Sanders right now has a lead of 216 votes. Dana and David, it doesn't get a whole lot closer than that. Two hours ago, they closed all the polls in Kentucky. Obviously, we can't make a projection yet.
No, we can't. And the Clinton campaign going into tonight, a source there was saying, well, it's going to be 50-50 whether she wins. It turns out, at least at this point, it looks like that prediction was correct. But even having said that, the Republican race, I think it's important to underscore again, the fact that this is still happening on the Democratic side, and that, you know, a year ago we started out with 17 candidates, or at least heading towards 17 candidates on the Republican side, and thought there was going to be a contested convention, and that's over.
Right, although it's not over in terms of, I don't think that party is completely unified yet.
Not at all, so, but there's one candidate left.
Yes, there's one candidate. The nomination race is over. But in terms of what we're talking about how Democrats are going to come together in terms of an advance of Philadelphia, I think that we can't forget the earthquake that the Republican Party experienced throughout this nomination season. Right. Yes, it delivered Donald Trump as the nominee. He vanquished all of his opponents, and he did that very successfully. But you can see just in recent days, John Kasich talking to Anderson, Paul Ryan still reluctant. The party still is going through a healing process. And so it's not as if Donald Trump is able to focus all of his attention on Hillary Clinton right now, just like she can't focus on him. He's doing the business now of converting himself to a general election nominee and doing some things he didn't do in the nomination season, hiring a pollster, starting to consider how to raise money with the RNC after making a very big deal about having no special interests attached to him. So he's trying to sort of go through the process of transition to the general election nominee and still working to persuade his own party to be there with him.
Question.
So he doesn't have a clean shot at her either yet.
No question. And I've been talking to Republican sources about this melding of the Trump campaign and the Republican Party apparatus and how fascinating it is, and it continues to be. And I'll tell you, Wolf, the one thing that I am I guess I shouldn't be floored by it because this is what happens when you're the nominee. But as somebody who has been to many Trump rallies, hearing how successful his line always is when he says, I'm not beholden to anybody, I'm not raising money, and talking to voters there who say, this is so important to me that he's not kind of in the pocket of donors, how he's going to sort of transform that concept into somebody who's got to help raise $1 billion to run against Hillary Clinton.
He no longer can say he's self-funding his campaign. He's going to be...
I guess according to the disclosure form today, if he's got $10 billion, he could.
He'd have to start selling
but I don't think he's
as he
interested
himself
in
says, he'd have to start selling some big buildings, some golf courses, stuff like that, which he clearly does not want to do. All right, guys, stand by. I want to go over to John King. Look at this, John. Bernie Sanders building up a slight lead, 1,012 votes out of 400,000 almost that have already been counted. 96% of the vote is now in.
And so the question is, can Hillary Clinton come back? Can she find 1,000+ votes as we count the remaining 4% in Kentucky? As you note, 46.6 to 46.3. Just wow, we got a great nail biter and a seesaw count. It's gone back and forth quite a bit over the last hour or so. Let me use the magic wall here. Let me use this sliding scale and go back a little bit. So I'm going to stop here at 95, right at 95. That illuminates here only the counties that have counted 95% or less of the vote, that still have votes to count. Everything else is largely in, including Pike County over here in the eastern part of the state, which Senator Sanders was waiting for. He won it quite convincingly, but it's one fewer county where we're looking for votes for Senator Sanders as he tries to hold on to that lead. So what else are we looking for? Over here in the Paducah area, right? McCracken County, Senator Sanders winning, but not by a lot. 91% of the vote in. You can see him here with a 5-point lead here. If it continues at that pace, you can assume Senator Sanders would add some votes to his lead. No guarantee of that, but if the rest of the votes come in at roughly this percentage, he would add some votes there. What else is out? Well, if you're in the Clinton campaign, this is why you're a bit encouraged, even though you're behind at the moment. The other counties that are still out at the moment are counties Secretary Clinton is leading. This one here, it's a small one. Barron County, only 1% of the state population, but we've got almost none of the vote in yet. So this one here, if this race is very close to the end, Tiny Barron County could decide it. I say could because I want to show you something in a minute. But at the moment, with just a tiny percentage of the vote, technically 0% counted, a small lead for Secretary Clinton. Let's watch as the rest of the results come in here. Again, it won't be a lot of votes. It's a small county, but in a close race, that could be the difference. Here's what's more significant. Nay, you start to move up here. Hardin County, 2.4% of the state population, matters in a close race. This one's essentially a wash, 47% to 46%. We're still waiting for 5%. In a close race, we have to count them all. But if you're Secretary Clinton, this is why you are most encouraged. Again, this one's going to be close no matter what. Jefferson County, 17% of the state population here, and we've been at 78% for some time. Our people are checking in with the county, trying to find out what's left, why the slow count all of a sudden. But Secretary Clinton here has a 17-point lead, nearly 18-point lead in this county. It is a big Democratic county, significant African-American base here. She tends to win by a decent margin among African-American voters. So if you're looking at this map, you're trying to figure out the final 4% of the vote, you know a big chunk of that final 4% is going to come from the largest county of the state. And if you're in the Clinton campaign, you think, your hope, that that would be enough. The math certainly supports that she could eke out a narrow victory here, but we've got a few other places, Anderson, to wait for. Very, very close to the end. If you made me place a bet, I'd say slight advantage Clinton, but it'd be a bit of a risky bet. Let's keep counting.
Yeah, only about 1,012 votes right now has Bernie Sanders out in front. Let's talk about Donald Trump. We talked about Hillary Clinton hoping to pivot toward a general election. Donald Trump already gearing up, obviously, for a general election. He has that luxury, which Hillary Clinton really doesn't have. I want to play something that Donald Trump said a while back. I'm not sure if this was several weeks ago or several months ago, about what he would and would not do in terms of preparation. Let's play that.
I don't have pollsters telling me what to say. I mean, a lot of these folks have pollsters.
I'm turning down millions. I don't want your money. I don't want your money.
You think those people are giving without favors. Now, Hillary raised $46 million, a lot of money. The good news is, the good news, how much do I have? $10 billion.